The chain that has bound your ancestors for 4 generations just snapped, and the sound echoed through the very halls of heaven, signaling that your season of just enough has officially come to an end. My beloved child, I have watched you sitting at your kitchen table in the quiet hours of the morning, the blue light of your phone reflecting in eyes weary from calculating numbers that never quite seem to add up. I have heard the silent, rhythmic beating of your heart as it quickens when the mail arrives, and I have felt the cold shiver of anxiety that crawls up your spine when you think about the future. You have carried the weight of a name that has always been synonymous with struggle, wearing a garment of scarcity that was stitched by the hands of those who came before you. But today, I am stripping that tattered cloth away. You were never meant to be a monument to lack. You were designed to be a conduit of my infinite overflow. For too long, you have viewed me through the narrow lens of your bank balance, believing that my love is somehow tied to the meager crumbs you have managed to sweep together. But I am the architect of the stars and the owner of the cattle on 1,000 hills, and my plan for you is not merely survival, but a flourishing that will leave your lineage unrecognizable. I see the 1893, the specific, ancient frequency of worry that has hummed in your family line like a broken machine, a legacy of fear that tells you that if something good happens, something bad must surely follow to balance the scales. I am here to tell you that my grace does not operate on a scale of cosmic balance. It operates on a scale of divine extravagance. This poverty mindset is a ghost that has haunted your house for too long, whispering that you are unworthy of luxury, that you must settle for the scraps of life, and that joy is a debt you can never repay. I am reaching into the very core of your spirit today to pull out those roots of insufficiency. I am replacing the dry, cracked earth of your expectations with a garden fed by an artesian spring that never runs dry. You have spent your life waiting for the other shoe to drop, but I am placing your feet on a foundation of solid gold. Think back to the stories your grandmother told, the stories of survival and making do, and realize that those stories were chapters in a book that I am now finishing. You are the protagonist of a new volume. I am opening doors that your father could not even see and providing keys to rooms your mother was told stayed locked for people like you. There is no such thing as people like you in my kingdom, for you are my heir, and my treasures are not guarded by celestial gatekeepers. Are laid out on a table prepared specifically for you in the presence of your fears. When you feel that familiar tightening in your chest, that sudden urge to hoard and hide because you fear it will all disappear, I want you to breathe deeply and remember my voice. I am not a God of subtraction. I am the God of multiplication. The miracles I am preparing to release into your life are not just financial. They are emotional and spiritual restorations that will heal the very cells of your body that have been ravaged by the stress of poverty. I am healing your sleep. I am healing your vision so you can see opportunities where you once saw dead ends. And I am healing your hands so they can hold wealth without the trembling of fear. This is not a temporary reprieve or a momentary stroke of luck. This is a foundational shift in the governance of your life. You are moving from the kingdom of not enough into the vast territory of more than enough. Do not look back at the desert you have wandered in for 40 years, for the manna was only intended to sustain you until you reached the land of milk and honey. You are at the border now. Step across with your head held high, not because of your own strength, but because your Father has bought the land and cleared the path. The loneliness you felt while struggling in silence was a lie whispered by the enemy to make you feel abandoned, but I was there in every penny saved and every bill paid by a miracle. Now, watch as I transition you from the miracle of the last minute to the miracle of overflowing peace. Your children will not know the language of lack. they will speak the language of legacy. Your name will no longer be a synonym for hardship, but a testimony to the transformative power of my love. Trust me now, more than you ever have, for the shift has already begun in the invisible realms, and soon, your eyes will see the physical evidence of the promise I am making to you this day. You are free. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Even now it springs forth. Can you not perceive it? The chains that bound your grandfather to the soil of unrewarded labor, and the invisible weights that kept your mother from dreaming beyond the next utility bill, are dissolving like mist in the morning sun. I am reaching back through the corridors of your history to heal the roots. Every moment where fear dictated your choices, where you chose the cheaper, broken thing because you felt you weren't worth the whole or the new, I am redeeming. Feel the tension leave your shoulders. That perpetual knot, the one that tightened every time a letter arrived in the mail or the phone rang from an unknown number, is being unraveled by my gentle hand. I am replacing the spirit of heaviness with a garment of praise. Think back to the times you felt you had to hide your needs, fearing that asking was a sign of failure. In my kingdom, your need is the invitation for my supply. I am training your eyes to look upward, not downward at the dust. I am teaching you to recognize the fragrance of prosperity, not as a selfish indulgence, but as the oil of anointing that flows down from the head to the very hem of your garment. You have been a master of making much out of little, a skill born of necessity. Now I will teach you the mastery of managing much for the sake of the many. Your hands, once calloused by the friction of scraping by, will become soft enough to hold the delicate dreams I am placing within them. I am opening the windows of heaven, not just to rain down currency, but to pour out ideas, strategies, and divine connections that will make the wealth of the world seem like a shadow compared to the substance of my glory. You used to fear the end of the month, but now you will welcome the start of every day as an opportunity to witness my faithfulness. I am deleting the scripts of not enough from your mind. When you walk into rooms you once felt disqualified from, remember that I have already placed your name on the door. You are not a guest in the house of blessing. You are an heir. I am refining your discernment so you can tell the difference between a trap of the past and a door to the future. Even your sleep will change. The restless calculations of debt will be replaced by the quiet confidence of a child who knows their father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Listen to the silence where the shouting of bills used to be. That silence is the peace that surpasses understanding. I am rebuilding your confidence, stone by stone, until you stand as a fortress of hope for others who are still trapped in the desert. You will be the one to show them the way out. You will be the evidence that the curse is broken. I am taking the memories of lack and turning them into the fuel for your generosity. The very things that used to trigger your anxiety will now trigger your gratitude, for you will see how far I have brought you. Look at your children, see how their eyes lack the shadow of worry that dimmed your own youth. That is my work. I am creating a buffer of grace around your household. The just enough mindset is a cage, and I have opened the door. Walk out. Do not look back at the bars. The desert was a place of testing, but the garden is a place of intimacy. I want you to know my heart, not just my hand. I want you to understand that my love for you is not tied to your productivity or your bank balance. You were loved in the lean years, and you are loved in the years of plenty. But I take no pleasure in your suffering, and I have seen the tears you cried in the dark when you thought the cycle would never end. It ends with you. It ends today. I am breathing life into your buried aspirations, the hobbies you abandoned because they weren't practical, the visions you suppressed because they felt like fantasies. I am calling them forth. They are the seeds of your new territory. Plant them with joy. There is no drought in the land I am giving you. The rivers here do not run dry, and the fruit is always in season. I am expanding your capacity to receive. You have been like a small cup trying to catch an ocean. I am turning you into a reservoir. Do not be afraid of the size of the blessing. Do not shrink back because it feels unfamiliar. Abundance is the native language of my kingdom, and it is time for you to become fluent. I am watching over your coming and your going. I am the architect of this transition. Every detail is being meticulously handled. Even the mistakes you made while trying to survive are being repurposed into wisdom for your thriving. You are no longer defined by what you lack, but by whose you are. You are the beloved of the King, and the King's resources are at your disposal for the fulfillment of your purpose. Rest now in this truth. Let it seep into your bones. Let it settle into your soul. Consider the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap, yet I feed them. How much more valuable are you? I am dismantling the theology of struggle that you adopted as a defense mechanism. You believed that if you suffered enough, you would somehow be safer or more holy. But I have called you to life, and life in abundance. The scarcity you endured was a thief, not a teacher. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten. I am bringing back the joy of simple things, the ability to enjoy a meal without calculating its cost, the freedom to give a gift without fearing for your own supply. I am healing the trauma of the bottom. You have looked at the bottom of the barrel for so long that you forgot to look at the sky. I am tilting your head back. See the vastness. That is the scale of my provision. I am rearranging your surroundings to match your internal shift. People who only knew you in your struggle may not recognize you in your success, and that is okay. Some are only equipped for the desert journey, but I am bringing new companions for the garden. I am teaching you the rhythm of rest. In the desert, you couldn't rest because you had to keep moving to survive. Here, the ground works for you. The favor I have placed upon you will accomplish more in an hour than your striving did in a decade. Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere? The heavy, humid air of anxiety is being replaced by the cool breeze of my spirit. I am cleaning the windows of your perception so you can see the opportunities that were always there, but hidden by the fog of survival mode. I am giving you the spirit of a sound mind to replace the spirit of panic. When you look at your future, I want you to see a canvas, not a debt. I want you to see a playground, not a battlefield. You are being reparented by me. I am showing you what it means to have a father who is both infinitely rich and infinitely kind. You no longer have to be the provider, the protector, and the sustainer all on your own. I am all those things for you. Your job is to be the child. Your job is to believe. Your job is to walk through the doors I open. Every step you take on this new ground is a holy act of defiance against the enemy who tried to starve your soul. Every time you breathe deeply and choose peace over worry, you are winning a battle for your bloodline. Your ancestors are watching, and the heavens are cheering as you break the sound barrier of poverty. You are moving into a realm of velocity where things will happen quickly. Alignments, breakthroughs, and healings that used to take years will now take days. Do not be overwhelmed. I am your anchor. I am the one who steadies your heart when the blessings come fast. I am teaching you how to dwell in the high places. The view from here is different. You can see the patterns now. You can see how I was working even in the leanest winter. You can see that the wilderness was not a destination, but a passageway. And now you have emerged. The landscape is changing, the air is getting sweeter, and the horizon is glowing with the light of a new dawn that will never fade. Look at your hands. For generations, those who came before you held their palms tightly shut, not out of greed, but out of a desperate need to keep the little they had from slipping through their fingers. They clutched at pennies and seeds as if life itself were a disappearing vapor. But I am prying those fingers open, one by one, with the gentleness of a summer breeze. I am teaching your muscles to forget the tension of the not enough, and to learn the rhythm of the more than sufficient. You have lived so long in the psychology of the siege, always waiting for the resources to run dry, always listening for the sound of the bottom of the barrel. But the barrel you now carry is the one that never empties, the cruise of oil that defies the laws of scarcity. I am rewriting the very chemistry of your expectations. When you walk into a room now, do not look for the cheapest corner or the smallest portion. I am training your eyes to see the abundance that has always been available in my kingdom, but which your spirit was too constricted to receive. Notice the way you used to apologize for taking up space, for asking for a fair wage, or for dreaming of a house with windows that catch the light. That apology is a relic of a ghost that no longer haunts you. I have evicted the spirit of the orphan from your heart and installed the spirit of the heir. Do you feel the difference in your chest? The constriction is loosening. You are beginning to realize that my love is not a rationed supply. It is an ocean, and you are no longer standing on the shore with a thimble. You are learning to swim in the deep. Even your sleep is changing. You used to wake in the middle of the night with a start, your mind racing through the math of survival, calculating how to stretch the temporal to cover the eternal. I am placing a seal of peace over your rest. Your dreams will no longer be haunted by bills and boundaries. They will be filled with blueprints for the future I am building through you. I am showing you that your value is not a fluctuating currency. It is a fixed gold standard, minted in the fires of my affection. Consider the legacy of silence you are breaking. Your mother did not speak of her dreams because she feared the disappointment would kill her. Your father worked until his bones were brittle, believing that sweat was the only way to appease a demanding world. I am honoring their labor by giving you the harvest they never got to see. You are the answer to the prayers they didn't have the words to pray. As you sit at your table, look at the bread. It is not just sustenance. It is a sign. It is a symbol that the famine of the soul is over. I am calling you to curate your life with the beauty that reflects my nature. Do not feel guilty for the softness of the fabric or the sweetness of the fruit. These are not indulgences. They are declarations of my goodness. You are becoming a living testimony that the cycle can be broken. People will look at you and wonder why the shadow of worry has left your face. They will notice that you no longer scramble for position or hoard for a rainy day. You will tell them that the rain has come, but it is not a storm of destruction. It is a rain of favor that has turned your desert into a garden. I am expanding your capacity to hold joy. For too long, you have been like a vessel with a hairline crack, losing your peace as soon as it was poured in. I am sealing those cracks with the oil of my spirit. You will become a reservoir of hope for others who are still trapped in the dry places. You will teach them the language of yes and amen. You will show them that the ceiling they have lived under is actually just a floor for the next level of glory. This transition is not merely about finances. It is about the sovereignty of your soul. I am giving you back your time. You will no longer spend your days trading your life force for mere survival. You will spend your days in the high calling of creation, stewardship, and rest. Rest is the ultimate act of trust. It is the proof that you believe I am working while you sleep. It is the final nail in the coffin of the poverty mindset. So, lean back. Let the tension leave your neck. Let the horizon expand before you. We are going further than you ever imagined, and we are going there together, at the speed of grace. I am opening the storehouses of wisdom that have been locked for centuries. There are ideas within you, seeds of innovation and creativity that were buried under the weight of "how will I eat?" Now that the question of how is answered by my "I will," those seeds are beginning to sprout. You will find yourself knowing things you were never taught, sensing the shift in seasons before they arrive, and moving with a confidence that isn't rooted in your own bank account, but in my inexhaustible riches. The walls of the small rooms you were raised in are falling down. I am giving you the wide-open spaces of my promise. Walk through them with the stride of one who belongs. You are not a guest or a beggar. You are my child, and all that I have is yours. Feel the warmth of this truth as it settles into your marrow. This is not a temporary reprieve. It is a permanent relocation. You have moved your spiritual address from the valley of lack to the mountain of provision, and the view from here is spectacular. Think of the rooms in your inner house. For years, you kept the lights low to save on the cost of existing. You walked on tiptoes, afraid to disturb the sleeping giants of debt and regret. I am walking through those hallways now, turning on every lamp, opening every heavy curtain to let the light of my presence flood the dark corners. I am replacing the old, threadbare carpets of maybe with the solid marble of it is finished. You will find that even your voice sounds different. It has lost the tremor of the supplicant and gained the resonance of the steward. When you speak, the atmosphere must align, for you are speaking words that I have breathed into you. Do not be surprised when doors that were bolted shut for your ancestors swing open at the mere sound of your approach. It is not because of your status in the world's eyes, but because of the signet ring I have placed on your finger. This ring signifies that you represent the king's economy. You are an ambassador of the unfailing kingdom. As you go about your day, pay attention to the small things. The way the grocery store clerk looks at you, the way a problem at work seems to solve itself before you even sit down to address it. These are the ripples of the favor that is now your natural environment. You are no longer swimming against the current of a fallen world. You are being carried by the slipstream of my grace. And in this slipstream, there is no friction. There is only the smooth, steady movement toward the fulfillment of everything I whispered to your heart when you were a child. Remember those dreams, the ones you tucked away in a box under the bed of your soul because they seemed too expensive, too loud, too impossible for someone like you. I am bringing that box out into the light. I am dusting off those dreams and breathing life into them. They were not your imagination. They were my invitations. And now you have the resources, both spiritual and physical, to say yes. Do not hurry. There is no need to rush to catch up with a life you think you missed. In my realm, time is redeemed. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten. I am packing decades of progress into moments of divine encounter. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to receive the weight of the glory I am pouring out. Your heart is being enlarged to handle the expansion. If I gave you all of this a year ago, it might have crushed you. But I have been quiet, steady, and thorough in my preparation. I have strengthened your character to be the foundation for your blessing. You can now carry the wealth without it carrying you. You can possess things without them possessing your peace. This is the true freedom, to have much and know that your life is still hidden in me. As the sun climbs higher on this new day, let the warmth of my love dissolve the last remaining shadows of that old, cold fear. You are safe, you are seen, you are significant, and you are at last truly free to flourish. Notice the shift in the air of your secret thoughts. For too long, you have been navigating by the stars of lack, believing that the darkness between the lights was more real than the light itself. I am retraining your eyes to see the abundance that has always been hidden in plain sight. I see the quiet moments in your kitchen, when you look at the pantry and still feel that phantom ache of wondering if it will be enough for tomorrow. I see the way you hesitate before purchasing something that brings you joy, as if your delight were a debt you could never repay. Listen to me. Joy is not a loan. My favor is not a credit line with high interest. It is your birthright as a child of the King. The mindset of the orphan is one of survival, but the mindset of the heir is one of stewardship. You are transitioning from the frantic struggle of the survivor to the calm authority of the steward. Think back to the voices of your lineage, the ones who taught you that to have was to be suspicious, and to want was to be selfish. Those voices were born of pain, not of truth. They were the echoes of empty cupboards and broken promises that had nothing to do with my heart for them. I am reaching back into your bloodline and severing the cords of the barely enough. I am washing the stain of not quite from your identity. You are no longer the one who waits for the other shoe to drop. You are the one who walks in shoes of peace, stepping onto ground that I have already conquered for you. I am teaching you the language of more than enough. It is a language spoken not in greed, but in the confidence that the source is inexhaustible. When you look at your children or the people you love, do you not desire to give them the world? How much more do I, the architect of the galaxies, desire to lavish my goodness upon you? The fear of lack is a thief that steals the present by haunting you with a fictional future. I am inviting you to stand firmly in this present moment, where I am. Look at the intricate patterns of the leaves outside your window, the way the light dances on the floor. These are not just aesthetics. They are signatures of my extravagance. I do not do anything in moderation when it comes to beauty or grace. I do not provide just enough oxygen for one breath. I provide an atmosphere. I do not provide just enough light to see one step. I provide a sun that warms the entire planet. This is the scale I work on. I am asking you to broaden your vision. Stop trying to measure my ocean with your thimble. The generational poverty you have known was not just about money. It was a poverty of expectation, a drought of hope. You learned to keep your head down so you wouldn't see what you couldn't have. But I am lifting your chin. I am directing your gaze to the horizon, where the treasures of darkness and the hidden riches of secret places are being prepared for your discovery. You will find that, as you begin to trust my provision, your hands will naturally unclench. You will find it easier to give, not because you have to, but because you know there is a river behind you that never runs dry. You are becoming a conduit, a vessel through which my resources flow into the world. And a pipe is always wet. The blessing stays on you as it moves through you. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders, the weight of carrying the how and the when. Those are my burdens to carry. Your portion is to trust, to listen, and to move when I say move. I am healing the trauma of the empty table. I am replacing the memory of we can't with the reality of I can through him. This is a deep work, a cellular renovation. It is the dismantling of a fortress built by ancestors who were tired. You can honor their struggle by being the one who finally breaks through into the sunlight. You are the pioneer of a new legacy. From you, a new story will be told, a story of a house where there was always an extra seat at the table, where the laughter was loud because the peace was deep, and where the name of the Lord was synonymous with the provider. Do not be afraid of the transition. The unfamiliarity of abundance can feel like a threat to the ego that survived on scarcity, but your spirit knows this frequency. Your spirit recognizes the home it was meant for. We are just getting started. There are rooms in your heart you haven't even opened yet, filled with dreams you buried because they felt too expensive to keep alive. I am digging them up. I am breathing life into the dry bones of your aspirations. Every no you heard from the world is being drowned out by my resounding yes. You are cherished. You are invited. You are being equipped for a level of influence that requires a heart completely untethered from the fear of loss. Stay here with me in this stillness, and let the truth of your new reality sink deep into the marrow of your being. You are no longer a slave to the seasons of lack. You are a master of the seasons of grace. The bread of tomorrow is already baked in the ovens of my providence. You do not need to hoard the crumbs of today. I am teaching you to sleep in the storm, knowing that the one who calms the sea is in the boat with you. Think of the times you felt overlooked, as if the world was a banquet you were only allowed to watch through a glass window. That window is gone. I have brought you in. I have pulled out the chair. I have called you by name. The scarcity ghost is a liar that whispers you are taking too much, that you are being greedy, that you should stay small to stay safe. I tell you, greatness is not greed when it is surrendered to me. Expansion is not arrogance when it is an expression of my kingdom. I want your life to be a testament to what happens when a human soul stops resisting my generosity. I want people to look at your peace and your prosperity and see my reflection. This is about more than your comfort. It is about my glory being manifested in a life that was once told it would never be enough. You are a living miracle of transformation. The very areas where you felt most deprived will become the areas where you are most used to nourish others. Your history of lack has given you a compass for the hurting, but my future of plenty will give you the resources to heal them. You are not just being blessed, you are being made a blessing. The cycle is broken. The debt is paid. The storehouses are open. Breathe in the scent of new beginnings. It smells like rain after a long, dry spell, like cedar and honey, and the fresh pages of a book yet to be written. This is your life now. This is the atmosphere of your new home in me. Think of the rooms in your childhood home, the way the air felt heavy with the unspoken math of survival. I am airing out those rooms. I am opening the windows and letting the breeze of my spirit carry away the dust of not enough. Every time you reach for something now, do not reach with the grip of someone who thinks it might be their last meal. Reach with the open palm of someone who knows the baker. I am changing the very way your nervous system responds to opportunity. Instead of the spike of anxiety, you will feel the hum of alignment. You are learning to recognize the difference between the frantic energy of the hustle and the steady momentum of holy flow. The world prizes the struggle, but I prize the surrender. In surrender, you find the strength that doesn't burn out. In surrender, you find the wealth that doesn't rust. I am rewriting your family tree, and where it once said struggle, it now says sovereignty. Where it once said deficit, it now says delight. You are the one I have chosen to show the others that the desert can indeed bloom. Do not look back at the wasteland with longing or regret. It served its purpose in teaching you to thirst for me. But now I am the spring. I am the well. I am the river that overflows its banks. Rest in this. Let it soak into the places where the dry cracks of poverty mindset still linger. I am filling every crevice with my gold. Observe your hands. For generations they have been clenched, perhaps subconsciously, as if trying to catch the wind or hold onto a handful of sand that was destined to slip through the fingers. This clenching was a prayer of protection, a reflexive armor against the fear of the void. But I am prying those fingers open, not to take, but to soften. I am teaching you the posture of the open palm. An open palm cannot fight. It is true, but neither can it receive the gifts I have been waiting to drop into your life. Feel the tension leaving your wrists and your forearms, the phantom weight of the debts your grandmothers carried, and the silent calculations your fathers made at the flickering kitchen light are being lifted. Those shadows do not have a seat at this table anymore. I have prepared a feast where the portions are not measured by a scale of scarcity, but by the limitlessness of my affection. You used to scan the room for the exit, wondering when the other shoe would drop, when the too good to be true would reveal its hidden cost. I tell you now, the cost has been paid. There is no hidden bill arriving in the mail of your spirit. There is no fine print in my covenant of grace. When you walk into a room of opportunity now, do not look for the cheapest way through it. Look for the most impactful way to inhabit it. I am expanding your capacity to occupy space without apology. You are not an intruder in the halls of abundance. You are the heir coming home to a manor that was always yours, though you were lost in the woods for a season. Notice the way your breath deepens when you think about the future. It is no longer a shallow gasp of survival. It is a long, slow inhalation of possibility. I am even healing your relationship with time. To the impoverished mind, time is an enemy, a ticking clock toward the next crisis. To the soul I am awakening, time is a canvas, a luxurious expanse where we co-create. You no longer have to rush. You do not have to get it while it lasts, because what I give you is eternal. It is a self-replenishing well. Think back to the moments when you felt small, when you chose the lesser option because you didn't feel worthy of the best. I am taking those memories and dipping them in the same gold that now fills your cracks. Every time you felt overlooked, I was actually hiding you, preparing you for a visibility that would not crush you. You are being conditioned for a weight of glory that the old version of you could not have carried. Do you feel the shift in your inner dialogue? The voice that used to whisper, "We can't," is being drowned out by a celestial chorus singing, "I provide." This is not just about your bank account, though I care for your needs. It is about the wealth of your identity. You are becoming a person who expects goodness. You are becoming a person who walks into a store, a meeting, or a relationship and asks, "How can I bless this?" instead of "What can I get from this?" Because you already have everything. The reservoir is full. I'm also working in the hidden corners of your home. The atmosphere of just enough is being replaced by an atmosphere of overflow. Look at your surroundings. Even the simple things, the way the sun hits the floor, the taste of your morning drink, are becoming signals of my lavishness. You are learning that beauty is not a luxury for the few, but a necessity for the soul I created to reflect my own. I am removing the price tags you placed on your own soul. You used to think your value was tied to your output, to how much you could produce under pressure. I am showing you that your value is intrinsic, anchored in the fact that I breathed life into you. You are valuable because you are mine, not because you are productive. In this realization, the pressure to perform for your provision evaporates. You work now from a place of play, from a place of curiosity, from a place of love. This is the secret of the kingdom that the world cannot grasp, that the most profound riches come to those who have stopped trying to earn them. I am weaving a new tapestry of legacy. Imagine the children of your bloodline, or those you mentor and influence, growing up in the shade of the trees you are planting now. They will not know the bitter taste of the bread of anxiety. They will grow up thinking it is normal to be supported, normal to be loved, normal to have more than they need so they can give with wild abandon. You are the pivot point. You are the one who said enough to the cycle of lack. As you sit in my presence, let the warmth of this truth melt the last icy shards of the not enough mindset. There is no lack in me. And since you are in me and I am in you, there is no lack in your reality. It may take your eyes a moment to adjust to the brightness of this new landscape, but stay here. Do not run back to the familiar dark. The light is where you belong. We are building a storehouse together, not just of grain or gold, but of peace, of joy, and of an unshakable confidence that you are watched over. Every bird of the air and every lily of the field is a witness to the contract I have written on your heart. If I clothe the grass, how much more will I clothe the one I called by name? Rest your head against the heart of providence. Hear the steady beat of my faithfulness. It has never missed a rhythm. It has never failed to sustain the universe, and it will not fail you. You are entering a season where the unexpected will no longer be a source of dread, but a source of wonder. You will see my hand in the sudden yes, the random favor, the coincidence that isn't a coincidence at all. This is the rhythm of the sovereign life. This is the inheritance of the beloved. Drink deeply from this cup, for it is bottomless, and I am the one who keeps it pressed to your lips. As you exhale, let the tension in your shoulders be the first of many things you set down. For too long, you have carried the weight of a lineage that measured its worth in scarcity and its safety in what could be hoarded. You have inherited a geography of lack, where every horizon seemed to whisper that there was never enough to go around, and that if you dared to feast, someone else would surely starve. But I am the architect of the infinite, and I am rewriting the very map of your soul. Look at your hands. For years, they have been clenched so tight that your knuckles have turned white, holding onto the fragments of what you feared would be your last meal, your last opportunity, your last breath of peace. Open them now, not just to receive, but to realize that the air itself is thick with my provision. I am loosening the grip of those ghosts who stood behind you, the ancestors who had to count every grain of salt, who saw the winter as an enemy and the tax collector as a thief. Their struggle was real, and I held them in it, but their trauma is not your inheritance. I am severing the invisible umbilical cord of not enough that has fed your anxieties for decades. You are no longer a child of the drought. You are a gardener of the overflow. Think of the way you used to walk through the world, eyes downcast, calculating the cost of every small joy, waiting for the hidden fee, the catch, the sudden reversal that would snatch it all away. That hypervigilance was a survival mechanism in a world you thought was indifferent. But I am not indifferent. I am obsessed with your flourishing. I am the one who hid gold in the very soil you thought was barren. I want you to practice a new way of breathing. When you see beauty, do not immediately ask if you can afford it. When you see an open door, do not wonder if it is a trap. The other shoe is not going to drop, because I have removed the shoes of lead from your feet and replaced them with the sandals of a son, a daughter, an heir. I am going into the deep cupboards of your subconscious and clearing out the stale bread of just getting by. I am replacing it with the honey of the rock. I am even changing the way you perceive time. You used to feel that time was a predator, eating away at your chances to succeed. Now see time as a servant, bringing you closer to the manifestations of my promises. Notice the small shifts first. The way the light hits your kitchen table and suddenly feels like a blessing rather than a reminder of what you lack. The way you can now look at a bill and see it not as a threat to your existence, but as a simple transaction from a reservoir that I keep filled. I am healing the poverty of spirit that makes you feel like an intruder in your own life. You are not a guest in this world. You are a steward of my riches. I am teaching you the luxury of being still. In the old mindset, stillness felt like a danger, a waste of time that should be spent hustling or worrying. But in this new season, your stillness is your greatest investment. It is in the quiet that I pour the blueprints for the exceedingly abundantly into your mind. I am teaching you to spend your peace like currency, knowing that the more you give away, the more I replenish. There is a specific fear I am drawing out of you today, the fear of being too much or having too much. You were taught that humility meant being small and hungry. I tell you that true humility is accepting the magnitude of what I want to do through you. If I make you a river, it is so that the whole valley can drink. If I make you a mountain, it is so that others can see the sun sooner. Do not apologize for the expansion. Do not shrink back so that others feel comfortable in their lack. Instead, become a living invitation to the feast. I am placing a new song in your mouth, and it doesn't have the minor chords of desperation. It is a symphony of arrival. You are arriving at the realization that the storehouse is not a building made of stone, but a state of being in me. When you wake up tomorrow, I want you to look in the mirror and see someone who is profoundly, recklessly loved. I want you to see a face that is no longer etched with the lines of "How will I make it?" but smoothed by the assurance of "It is already done." We are moving into the chambers of your heart, where the old wounds of deprivation still sting, the memories of being told no, the shame of being the one who didn't have enough, the quiet embarrassment of empty pockets. I am washing those rooms with a liquid light that dissolves shame. I am replacing those memories with new experiences of sudden favor. You will find that people are strangely kind to you. You will find that resources gravitate toward you not because you have worked harder, but because you have stopped resisting the flow. This is the gravity of grace. It pulls everything toward the center of my will for you. Drink again from this cup. It is the wine of the new covenant, where your needs are not just met, but anticipated. I am the God of the before they call, I will answer. I am the God of the while they are yet speaking, I will hear. You are moving from a life of frantic seeking to a life of holy finding. Rest here. Lean into the warmth of this truth until it becomes your new default setting. The desert is behind you. The gardens are ahead, and I am walking beside you, holding the keys to every gate. Listen to the silence that follows the turning of those keys. It is not the empty silence of a desert night, but the expectant hush of an empty canvas, white and vast, waiting for the first stroke of a master's brush. You have lived so long in the cramped quarters of just enough that your spirit has learned to hunch, to pull its shoulders in, to take up as little space as possible. I am here to tell you to stand tall. Stretch your arms until they touch the walls of your perceived limitations and feel them give way like wet paper. The architecture of your life is expanding because the architect has moved in. I am rewriting the very blueprint of your expectations. Where you once saw a ceiling, I am revealing a sky. Where you once felt the cold floor of necessity, I am laying down the plush carpets of my providence. Think back to the hands of your ancestors, those calloused, weary hands that gripped pennies as if they were lifeboats. I am honoring their toil, but I am releasing you from their terror. You carry the DNA of survivors, but I am infusing you with the spirit of a ruler. You were born to reign, not to scramble for crumbs under a table that was built for you to sit at. Feel the weight of the old mantle, the heavy, gray wool of "we can't afford it," sliding off your shoulders. It is falling into the dust, and it will never be picked up again. In its place, I am draping you in the fine linen of my favor. It is light, it is breathable, and it reflects the light of my countenance. Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere of your mind? The constant, buzzing calculation of how much is left is being replaced by the steady, rhythmic heartbeat of "he is more than enough." I am teaching you a new arithmetic, one where subtraction does not exist and where the more you give away, the more the fountain overflows. You will walk into rooms you once felt unworthy to enter, and you will do so without the frantic need to prove your value. Your value is settled. It was paid for in blood and sealed in light. I am taking you back to the memories of your childhood, the moments when you saw what others had and felt that sharp, bitter sting of being the other. I am reaching into those memories and pulling out the thorns of envy and the shards of inadequacy. I am replacing them with the realization that I was simply seasoning you, preparing a vessel that could hold the weight of great wealth without being crushed by it. You are becoming a person who can handle much because you finally understand that it is all mine, and because it is mine, it is yours. Watch how the small things change. Notice how you no longer hold your breath when you open the mail. Notice how the tightness in your chest dissolves when you see someone else prosper. You are no longer in competition with the world because you are in communion with the Creator. I am placing a new song in your mouth, a melody that sounds like rain falling on parched earth. It is the sound of saturation. It is the sound of the deep calling to the deep. I am even changing the way you sleep. The restless nights of mental ledgers and panic strategies are over. You will lay your head down and find that your dreams are no longer occupied by ghosts of lack, but by visions of expansion. You will see gardens that grow overnight and storehouses that never empty no matter how many people are fed. This is the new frequency of your existence. You are vibrating with the energy of my abundance. I am setting a table before you in the presence of your enemies, not just the people who doubted you, but the spiritual enemies of poverty, stagnation, and fear. They will watch from the shadows as I pour oil over your head until it runs down your garments. They will see your cup run over, staining the floor with the richness of my grace, and they will know that you are favored. Do not be afraid of the height. As you ascend, the air becomes thinner for the ego but richer for the spirit. You are learning to breathe the oxygen of the miraculous. You will find yourself saying yes to opportunities that once seemed like impossible fantasies. You will find yourself walking through doors that previously had no handles on your side. I am the door, and I am wide open. Rest in this deepening peace. Let it soak into your bones until even your marrow is convinced of my goodness. We are just beginning to explore the geography of this new land. Every step you take is a claim, every breath you take is an inheritance. I am clearing the path of the stones that tripped your father and the briars that caught your mother's hem. You are walking on a leveled way, and the wind at your back is the very breath of my spirit, ushering you into a season of unprecedented flourishing. Lean back. Let the gravity of my love pull you deeper into this rest. You are safe. You are provided for. You are home. Look at your hands. For generations, they have been clenched, not in anger, but in the frantic attempt to hold onto the little they possessed. Your grandfather's hands were stained with the red clay of toil, and your mother's fingers were calloused from the constant mending of things that were meant to be replaced. They lived in the season of scarcity, a long, biting winter of the soul, where every blessing felt like a loan that would soon be recalled. I am gently uncurling those fingers now. I am smoothing the tension out of your palms. You are learning the posture of the open hand, the realization that you cannot receive a new gift while gripping the ghosts of yesterday's lack. I am teaching you that the ocean does not miss the bucket of water you draw from it, and my resources are more vast than any ocean you have ever imagined. There is a room in your mind where you have kept the ledgers of not enough. It is a dim place, cluttered with the receipts of old anxieties and the blueprints of survival strategies that no longer serve you. I am walking into that room now. I am opening the shutters to let in the noonday sun. See how the light reveals that those old debts have already been settled. I have paid the price for your freedom from the recurring cycle of just making it. You were never designed to be a survivor. You were designed to be an heir. Survival is a horizontal struggle, a constant looking left and right to see who might take what is yours. Your true identity is a vertical reality, a constant looking up to the source who delights in giving. You may feel a strange guilt when ease visits you. You may feel a phantom itch to work harder, to struggle more, as if your suffering is the currency that buys my favor. Let me whisper this truth into your heart. My favor is not for sale, and your exhaustion does not impress me. What moves my heart is your trust. When you sit in the garden I have prepared and actually eat the fruit without wondering if you deserve it, that is worship. When you sleep through the night without mentally calculating the cost of tomorrow, that is a sacrifice of praise. Your ancestors stood at the edge of this promise, peering through the briars, but they could not enter because their hearts were still tethered to the desert. You are the one who crosses over. You are the one who breaks the fast of the generations. I am changing the very vocabulary of your spirit. The word cost is being replaced by provision. The word fear is being replaced by anticipation. Watch as I rearrange the circumstances of your daily life to reflect this internal shift. You will find that resources come to you from unexpected directions, not because you have manipulated the world to give them, but because you have finally stopped blocking the flow with your own worry. You are a conduit, not a reservoir. A reservoir worries about its level. A conduit only cares that the source is flowing. And I am the source that never fails. Think of the house you were raised in, whether it was physical or emotional. Was there a ceiling on what you were allowed to hope for? Was there a quiet understanding that people like us do not get things like that? I am tearing down that ceiling. I am showing you that the sky is not a lid but an invitation. I am enlarging the stakes of your tent. You will begin to dream dreams that are too big for your current capacity, and instead of shrinking back, you will simply grow into them. This is the stretching of the soul. It may feel uncomfortable, like new skin forming over an old wound, but it is the discomfort of expansion, not the pain of constriction. The table I am setting for you is not in a hidden corner. I am setting it in the presence of those old enemies, the spirits of lack, comparison, and regret. They will watch as I pour oil over your head until it runs down your robes. They will watch as your cup overflows, spilling onto the floor, and you will not even reach to stop it because you know there is more where that came from. This is the luxury of the beloved. This is the extravagance of grace. You are learning to live in the more than enough of my love. Do not be afraid of the spaciousness. Do not try to fill the silence with the noise of busy work. Sit in the quiet of this new abundance. Let the realization that you are truly wealthy in me sink past your intellect and into your DNA. I am healing the cellular memory of poverty. I am washing away the grit of the hard way. From now on, your labor will be an overflow of joy, not a desperate attempt to fill a hole. You are standing on holy ground, and the soil beneath your feet is rich, dark, and ready for the seeds of a legacy that will feed your children's children. We are just getting started in the tilling of this ground. Feel the warmth of the sun on your back. This is not a dream you will wake from. It is the reality you have finally woken up to. Stay here with me. Let the old echoes of "not yet" and "not for you" fade into the distance until the only voice you hear is mine, calling you by name into the fullness of your inheritance.